It is the end of May in 2021, and greetings from Fort Worth, Texas. We traveled down this way from Carlsbad, New Mexico, and it was about a 6-hour drive. We came down here because we have some business to attend to, and also to visit Shannon's family, so I could meet them in person for the very first time. We've been here all week, and Shannon's family, they're very lovely people, and they've been extremely welcoming, especially to me, a stranger from the internet who lives in a car and is courting their daughter. Maybe that's a poor way to introduce myself, but nevertheless, we really hit it off. I had planned to publish a video this week, and I am, but I didn't quite know what. I thought I might do some exploring here in Texas, or tinker with the vehicles, but that did not happen. As you can imagine, it was mostly personal time this week where we were visiting friends and family and just seeing the odds and ends, but that is quite alright because I still have an adventure for you. Late last year, in 2020, I had to unexpectedly postpone an episode of Venture Forward, one that I had almost finished recording, but something came up at the last minute, so I had to set it aside. I decided that this is the perfect opportunity to use that footage and share that experience with you for the first time. So without further ado, adventure is afoot. Right now I'm exploring Santa Fe National Forest in New Mexico, and this is actually a place that I spent some time at earlier this year. But it was too muddy during my last visit, so I figured I'd come back and explore it again at a different time. I'm in New Mexico because I had some business to attend to, but like I do every cold season, I'm also here to chase lower elevations, drier conditions, and warmer temperatures. And right now I'm striking out on all three of those fronts because it's probably in the 20s, there was a dusting of snow last night, and I'm probably at around 6,500 feet. This is an enjoyable network of roads. It yields some amazing mountainscapes to the west that just sort of appear out of nowhere. I am having a little bit of trouble with this dusting of snow. The ground is frozen and there's just a little bit of snow on the surface. So in off-camber conditions, the Jeep slides down into the ruts just very easily. I'm going to keep moving, but this is a great secluded spur to set up camp for a night. The surrounding brush breaks the wind a little bit, and then beyond that you have mountain views to the east, the north, and to the west. Sunday afternoon around 3 p.m. and I'm in the back of the Jeep working on a new website for Venture Forward because the current website is complete rubbish. I've been meaning to do this for quite some time, but I seldom get the chance because I'm always on the go and I'm always in the back of a car. But I've got this great dispersed campsite east of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And right on the mountain behind me is an enormous cell tower, so my internet connection is phenomenal. tomorrow morning I'm going to break camp fairly early and head into Albuquerque. I'm going to start with coffee, of course, and then I need to find a tire shop because I have yet another nail in a different tire. This time it's a single nail in my driver's side rear, and it's leaking very slowly. Only 6 p.m., but it's getting cold fast. It's been 18 degrees Fahrenheit at night lately. I'm going to change clothes, crawl up into the camper, and also turn the heat on. Okay, let's move these here for better ventilation. Heater all the way on. Those go here. I don't quite know where I'm going to go after I'm finished in Albuquerque tomorrow, but I think I'm going to follow I-40 west and head to El Malpais National Monument. I was there earlier this year, but I had to bail because the forest roads were too muddy. And since I'm in the area, it's probably a good time to go back and visit some terrain that I missed last time. It's 9 a.m. and I dropped the Jeep off at Firestone in Albuquerque, just off of Interstate 40. The gentleman at the counter said probably be finished in an hour and a half. All right, it was a productive morning in Albuquerque. Got coffee, tire repair. I got gas, I replenished my water supply. By the way, most Smith's gas stations in Albuquerque have water fills next to the air compressors, which is very handy. Now I'm westbound on Interstate 40, and adventure is afoot. On my way back to the Jeep, it's about a half mile to the big tubes, and then you spend another I don't know, half mile to a mile walking around just in that general vicinity. Probably close to a 3-mile hike, give or take, depending on how much time you spend exploring the area. Yes. Yes. It's 3 p.m. The sun is already really low in the sky. I think I'm just going to pop the camper here at the trailhead tonight. I'd really be surprised if anyone is by, and all I really want to do is get some shut-eye and continue exploring in the morning. Tuesday morning, and I slept wonderfully last night. This has been a really peaceful spot. It is 7:30 a.m., so I'm gonna get up and get the ball rolling. There's the road that travels to the south of here, the primitive road that I want to explore. El Malpais. I've been pronouncing this incorrectly. El Malpais National Monument. I don't know what kind of terrain I'm going to encounter on this primitive track, but I aired down the tires very low to about 14 psi, and I did that primarily for comfort. Regarding my electronic sway bar disconnect system, I forgot to give you all an update last week. When I went back east and searched my storage unit, I could not find my spare sway bar actuator anywhere. I must have searched my storage unit 3 or 4 times, and I gave up, and I resolved just to go ahead with the pneumatic actuator conversion, which I have an appointment to get in 2 weeks. So for the time being, the sway bar's connected. I'm not going to bother unbolting the end links or anything like that. It's a little bit herky-jerky back and forth, but I think the Jeep will do just fine. For all intents and purposes, we're traversing a lava field that's almost 11,000 years old. And while I'm not worried about being swallowed by the earth as I'm driving, the farther we go, the more sinkholes that we see. And judging by the enormity of the lava tubes we saw yesterday, I imagine that El Malpais National Monument is just riddled with subterranean cavities. The terrain is so radically jagged and volatile here, yet trees are still able to flourish at the bottom of the sinkholes. Not to mention, it is incredibly peaceful here. There aren't any tracks in the snow from other people, so I'm sure that I have this amazing landscape all to myself. This is an approved route that I'm driving on. It's both on the National Monument map and on Gaia GPS. But despite that, it is extremely rugged, traveling over a field of sharp and gritty lava rocks, and it seems to be traveled very infrequently. It's around midday, and after about 8.5 miles from where I left this morning, the track terminates unremarkably at a wilderness boundary. It's a lovely secluded landscape in the National Monument with lava rocks, some rolling hills, and conifers. I'm going to keep moving though. Going to start backtracking and keep working my way south or southwest. After I left the trail, I drove around for a few hours looking for an ideal dispersed campsite, something with a fire ring, something charming. And there was a lot of public land with cattle grazing and a smattering of private parcels, but I could not find an ideal campsite. I drove down this road hoping to find something, but nada, and it led me to this trailhead. Meanwhile, I ran out of daylight, so I just figure, alright, improvise tonight, pop the camper here. I'm not thrilled with this spot because I don't know what kind of traffic it gets, but it's quiet, there's no one here. All I want to do is have dinner and get some shut-eye tonight. It should serve the purpose. I'm going to spend some time on pavement tomorrow and work my way toward the Arizona border. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to end up yet, but I'm going to figure that out as I go. I just have to start positioning myself for RNG's Jeep service in a couple weeks. Well, that wasn't one of my better nights. Around 2:30 a.m., my Webasto gasoline heater conked out again. I used the heater only 4 times since it was serviced and cleaned out. And that was once in Nebraska, once outside of Albuquerque, and then twice in El Malpais National Monument. Now this past March, Webasto serviced the heater and they advised me that the heater is not recommended for use at over 5,000 feet. And for the past 3 nights, I've been using it at 7,000 feet. I take responsibility for that, but I'm surprised that it only took 3 nights for things to go south. I'm in Apache-Sitgreaves National Forest, south of Vernon, Arizona. After the heater conked out this morning, I couldn't quite get back to sleep. I tossed and turned for the next 4 hours, so I decided, alright, I'm just going to break camp, make tracks, and work my way to Arizona. At least I'll be warm. And I was in this area a few years ago, and I remember it being just this serene, with a vast network of forest roads through rolling hills, and just a lovely forested setting. The roads that I've encountered back here are fairly easygoing, with ample, excellent dispersed camping opportunities, a great place to settle in for a few days or even a week, especially during the summer. And we are back in Texas. I hope you all enjoyed that previously unreleased adventure. That's never happened before, where I sort of skipped a week and then sat on the footage, but I'm glad that I finally have the opportunity to share that with you. Next on the agenda, I have an appointment for the Winnebago Revel at OK 4-Wheel Drive in New Jersey to get a suspension by Agile Off-Road. And then immediately after that, the very next day, I'll be attending my son Cole's high school graduation in Pennsylvania. I can't wait, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Then after that, we'll be back in the mountains. So Fort Worth to New Jersey to the Rocky Mountains. I have some driving ahead of me, all in a relatively short window of time, so I better get going. Thanks for watching, and I will catch up with you again next week, a bit to the east.